All
So,
right.
hey, Jen. Okay, so I'm going to have you introduce yourself and then tell us where you are from.
All right. So my name is Jennifer. I'm originally from New Jersey, but moved down to south of Atlanta about 3 years ago.
Okay. All right.
Uh-huh.
So, how are you liking Atlanta from New Jersey, that transition?
It is definitely a transition. New Jersey and New York have more of that hustle and bustle type of mentality. Here, it's
Yes.
slow, but the weather here is amazing. I don't have to deal with snow. The taxes are
Oh,
so
yeah.
so.
Yes.
I think I'm a Georgia resident now. I'm not going back to Jersey, but I'll go back to visit, just not to live.
Tell us what made you want to become a nurse.
So I've always wanted to be in the medical field. If you look back to my elementary fifth year yearbook, it
Mhm.
asks all the kids when you grow up, and my fifth grade self said I wanted to be an OBGYN.
Oh my God.
But yet at that point,
Yes. Is like going out when you talk. Okay, say that again.
yeah, sorry, my dog is trying to cuddle with me, so
That's okay.
so ever since I was young, back in fifth grade, if you look at my fifth year yearbook, they ask
Mhm.
all the kids what you want to be when you grow up. And I said I wanted to be an OBGYN. And I'm sure at that point I didn't even know how to spell OBGYN or
Mhm.
what it's
Didn't know what it was.
right, exactly. I just knew it was something about women's health and babies.
Yes.
So I was in the field. I love the medical field. I think the body just fascinates me of how it works and how it operates and such. And
Mm.
so ever since fifth grade, I knew I wanted to be in the medical field in some form or fashion.
I love that. I love that. So you knew from an early age that you were going to go into nursing. So
Oh
that's
yeah, yeah,
amazing. I think most people kind of feel like nursing was something that they knew at a young age, that
yeah.
they were pulled into it.
You have to know that you want to help people. You have to know that
Mm.
the body anatomy is just an amazing thing. So I think a lot of medical professionals they know from a young age I want to help people, and this is the way I want to help them.
So tell us a little bit. You have a condition in which is causing vision impairment. Tell
Yeah.
us a little bit about this condition and when you were diagnosed and all of that.
Yeah. So when I was younger, somewhere in elementary school, I was diagnosed with juvenile rheumatoid arthritis, JRA. But nowadays, I think they call it juvenile idiopathic arthritis. So it's just a
Okay.
new name. So it's an autoimmune condition that affects the joints in different areas and such. With JRA or JIA now, it can cause other issues. So for me, it caused something called uveitis, which is still an autoimmune condition that attacks the uvea of my eye as well as other things in my eye. So I have something called pan uveitis. So it's the front, the back, the whole eyeball is
Mm-hmm.
affected by autoimmune condition. Um, and so that was diagnosed in middle school. So first it was
Middle
arthritis
school.
in elementary, and then
Mhm.
somewhere in like maybe sixth grade, I got diagnosed with uveitis. It started with just a normal pair of glasses, like every other kid.
Yeah.
It started sitting in the front of the class as opposed to the back of the class. And it just kept progressing to the point where I just couldn't see the board.
Okay.
I couldn't see paper. Things had to be really large and things like that.
Mhm.
Um, and so as the years go on, it's progressive. So the arthritis is a juvenile thing. So I have grown out of it. I don't have it anymore. But
Okay.
the itis is a lifelong thing that I have to deal with.
That
So
came
each
from
year,
that.
yeah, one
That's
thing.
interesting.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And there's no
Um,
like cure for it because it's my immune system.
right, right.
Yeah.
And so is it both eyes or is it just one eye?
Yep. So it's both eyes.
Both
So
eyes?
my eye is completely blind, meaning there's no light perception. So if I were to close my left eye,
Mhm.
my right eye is completely black. I don't see anything out of there. Not even
Mm,
maybe if you see the light, I could tell there's a light shining, but that's about it.
okay.
And left eye, I was considered legally blind, which is 2200, but now I'm just considered blind because I don't see the big E on the Snell chart anymore.
Okay.
I just there's a light shining somewhere in the distance. So colors, movement mainly, some shapes is what I can see. So I am
Okay.
considered a blind individual, even though I have some usable vision.
Okay. But what's
Yeah.
really amazing to me is even with this condition, you have thrived. You've been able to do so much, which is like, I was like, no, we're going to talk about this because I
Absolutely.
want the world to know how amazing you are. And
Thank
so
you.
you did not let this condition stop you. You were able to accomplish so much. So let's get into um nursing, right? Because you got this condition in middle school and then you became a nurse after finishing high school, right? And so you had this condition. So how was that?
Ooh, it was hard, right? So of course, nursing school is
Nursing
hard,
is
and
hard in itself. Like I couldn't imagine. I could
yeah,
not imagine. Oh my
yeah.
gosh.
So
So,
I better vision, so I can see, sir. I can see more. I could do my, if there was a test, as long as they made it large print, I can still do the tests in
okay.
print, like on the computer or audio and
Uh-huh.
whatnot. Clinicals is when it's like, ooh, this may be a problem. So when I had to deal with
Yes.
medications, of course, they're really tiny. Injections are really, or the needles are really tiny. Seeing how much,
Right.
so at that point,
Insulin. I couldn't imagine. Yes.
yeah, so many people told me, Jennifer, nursing is not a field for a blind person. You shouldn't go into it. Find something else. And I said, nope, I want to do nursing. I wanted to do it since I was in fifth
I
grade.
love it.
Just pushed forward and I said, I'm going to ignore everybody telling me no.
Yes. Because can
Yeah,
you imagine, even those who are not blind, don't have any conditions, they are still told those type of things, right? When you
exactly.
go into nursing school. So I could not imagine what you were hearing going through this process.
Yeah.
Like,
The
but
commission for, sorry, my
mhm,
dog is
that's okay.
the commission for the blind is one who told me not to do it, which understandably, because they could probably see into the future, saying, Jennifer, long term this may not be a good thing.
Hmm.
My nursing professors, people that I did clinicals with, oh my goodness, the list goes on and on, saying, Jennifer, you sure this is
Yes.
the right field? And I was very determined and also very I don't know what you call it. Like if you tell me no, that gives me fuel
I'm
and
gonna do
fire to
it. Like
find a way to make it a
now,
yes.
I'm going to do it because you said I couldn't.
Exactly.
That's me.
Exactly. Defiant. There's the word. I was
Yeah,
very defiant. The more people that told me no, the more people I'm like, I'm doing this. I don't
you're
care
doing
what you
it.
say. I'm
Yeah.
doing
And
this.
look, you are doing it. You're literally doing it. And
Yes,
you're doing an
ma'am.
amazing job because I worked beside you and seen it with my own
Yes.
eyes. Okay. So I can vouch for
Yes.
you. But tell me
Absolutely.
how that
I love
felt.
nursing. I love
Y-
patient care. But at this point
Yes.
in my blindness, I don't do hands-on, right? I'm not by the
Mm-hmm.
bedside. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not giving insulin or
Mm-hmm.
IV pumps or anything like that. I'm more
Right.
on the insurance side, on the case management side. So I'll
So,
still my nursing information and knowledge is still there, but I am
mhm.
not poking anybody with needles or giving anybody very small
Right, right,
pills
right, right.
for their
Right.
safety and for the safety of my license.
But you're still a
Yeah.
nurse.
Yes.
Yes. So I want to go backwards to those moments when people were saying that you couldn't. Like, what really just was like your motivation during that time, during that season? We all have something that is like, making us want to go. I know that you said that those people made you go harder because they said you couldn't, but what else was it that was keeping you grounded and keeping you going to reach the ending point of this
Yeah.
degree?
Honestly, there was nothing else that I wanted. When I looked at other careers out there, and of course, there's millions of other careers I could have chosen,
Mhm.
nothing else interests me other than the medical field and nursing. And so part of me's like, all right, you want me to find another career, but none of the other ones excite me.
Okay.
None of the other ones I want to do when when I see myself 10 years down the road or 20 years
Mhm.
down the road, I don't see myself doing something other than nursing. So that was my fuel to go
That was
forward. So
your
it's like, I don't
fuel.
have another option. I want to
This is
do
it.
nursing.
Ah, that's
Yeah.
amazing. That's
Yeah.
amazing. And so here you are being bomb in your field. Let me ask you this. Where have you worked as a nurse? I know that we mentioned case management in the hospital, but that's not the only place that you've worked. Where else have you
Yeah.
worked as a nurse?
So let's see. Let's start from the beginning. I graduated nursing school and I worked at Camp Sun and Fun in South Jersey. I was a health and safety director there for about 3 summers. That
Okay.
was so much fun because I worked with kids and adults with mental and physical disabilities, and I lived on the
Nice.
campgrounds. That was an amazing job. So I started there,
Yes.
and then I went into home care, pediatric home care. So I would
Mm-hmm.
come to their houses, and I'd be there for 2 to 8 hours taking care of these sick kids and whatever conditions they had. And then from there, I went into Cooper Hospital in South Jersey. And then I think I got my first case management job there. Wait, let's backtrack. I also did nursing home in South Jersey. So I did that for about a year. Realized
Okay.
I like the pediatric and adult side more than I like the geriatric side.
Mm-hmm.
So then I went into Cooper, and that's where I started my case management career with all different types of age groups and diagnosis. So I went from there and just kept with case management from Cooper to Capital Health to Children's Hospital of Philadelphia,
Wow.
and then now here at Piedmont. So
Okay.
I've worked with some pretty big name hospitals, which I love the
Yeah.
trauma centers. I love
Right.
the level ones. You get to learn. So I love residents. You get to learn so much from these people and from
I
these organizations.
bet.
Oh yeah.
Yes. You've worked in a lot of different settings, right?
Uh-huh.
From
Yep.
home
From
health and
regular general
pediatrics.
hospital.
Yeah. Wow,
Yep.
you've done a lot in your nursing career.
Oh yeah.
Um but you know what? There was something that you mentioned to me that I really want you to talk about. Um so we're going to take it back. I know we went to nursing career, but we're going to take it back to nursing school because there was something that you did that was I
Oh
just
yeah.
can't think of any other way to describe this than amazing. And I want you to talk about this because you really opened the door for other nurses. And I really want
Yeah.
you to talk about what that was.
Absolutely. So I went through nursing school. It's a 4-year program. So I went through all 4 years. I even made the dean's list once or twice and whatnot. By the end of nursing school, there was a test that we had to take in order to finish nursing school and sit for your boards. It was
Mhm,
called the HESI exam. The
mhm.
HESI exam is made to be harder than the NCLEX because they want to know that you're going to pass,
That you're going
right?
to
They
pass,
want to know that
right?
you're actually going to pass. The
Mm-hmm.
more people pass the NCLEX, the better it looks for the school because of their passing rate. So when other
Right.
people are looking into coming to that school as a freshman, I said, "Oh, look, 100% of people
The
pass
pass
the
rate.
NCLEX."
Right.
Right, right. So it looks good for them.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, I did not pass the HESI on the first 2 tries. And so
Mm-hmm.
because of that, they told me that I could not get my bachelor's of science in nursing degree. I could get a bachelor's in health science. I said, I didn't go to school for
For
four
four
years,
years,
work my
right?
butt
For
off,
that.
and pay all this money for a bachelor's of
Right.
science in healthcare. I want my
Mm-hmm.
BSN.
Right.
And so that particular summer, when everybody else was at Six Flags and the mall and the beach, whatever else,
Mm-hmm.
I was talking to anybody who would listen. So politicians, I went down to the governor's office. I went to the press. I went to lawyers. I went to the dean's list, the president of the school, anybody who would hear my complaint. And I said, this is not right. I paid all this money, spent all this time to sit for the boards. How are
Right.
you allowed to hold me back based off of one test in 4 years that you can hold me back so I can't sit for the boards? If I sit for the boards and I don't pass, that's on me.
Right. Right.
So
That's
I
different.
talked to anybody who would listen. Eventually, I did
Mm-hmm.
get to the governor's office. I didn't talk to the governor himself. It was Governor Christie at the time. But I sent my complaints. I gave my information. Unfortunately, I did have to repeat that semester. But during that semester, I heard back from the government's office saying the HESI exam can no longer hold you back. I could still have to take it, but whether
Mm-hmm.
I pass or fail, it doesn't hold me back from taking the NCLEX. Yeah, and
So
then for other
you made
students in
that
New Jersey,
possible
they
for not only
yeah,
yeah, so you made that possible for not only you, but your entire
the whole
school and
state.
people coming behind you. So
Yep,
you
yep.
guys have her to thank if you
So for the
are in
state of
New
New
Jersey in
Jersey,
nursing school, okay? Like you have
uh-huh.
her to
I
thank because
I
I
can't
don't
talk
think
about any other state, but at least for New
yeah.
Jersey, if you take
New
the HESI
Jersey,
exam,
look,
they
send her
cannot hold
over
you
a
back from taking the
DM. You
NCLEX.
guys send her over messages
Yeah,
and just flood and thank her for that. Because
yes.
so many people are held back from that. I know
Uh-huh.
that you said HESI, it was the ATI predictor here in Georgia with the school that I went to. And
Yeah.
I've seen it. People didn't pass and they could not go on. That was it.
Yeah.
You
And it's
know?
not
And
fair,
yeah,
right?
it's not
You
fair.
spend
It's
all
not
that time
fair.
and all that money to take the NCLEX, to sit for your
Right.
boards. You prepare for the boards. You can give me the HESI exam, that's fine. But whether I pass or fail, you can't tell me that I failed all 4 years based off of
Right.
one test
Exam.
that's not a state test or a
And look
federal
what
test.
came of it because of your perseverance,
Yeah.
because you were like, I am not giving up on this. You guys are going to have to do something
Figure
about
it out.
this. Now you are sitting as a nurse because you
Yes.
did not give up. And so
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure that we mention that because I want that to, I want nurses who are in school or thinking about nursing. There's so many things. I want them to be motivated and encouraged that do not give up. If you are like
Don't give up.
Jennifer and from a young age you knew that nursing was for you, do not give up. God
Yeah,
placed that in your heart for a reason. And so
absolutely.
fight for it because we all have. I think that
Yeah.
every nurse really going through the nursing program, you were fighting for it. So,
At some point, you were fighting for it, whether it's
yes,
financially, whether it's just
you're
up
fighting.
late hours studying, all the
That was me.
flashcards. At some point,
Yes.
you have to fight
You have
to
to
be a
fight.
nurse.
You have to
Yeah,
fight.
yeah,
And
but it's so
so,
worth it.
yes, it's worth it. It's
Yeah,
worth it. It pays off in the end for sure. And so,
absolutely.
yeah, so you mentioned some of the places that you've worked as a nurse. What was your favorite place that you worked as a nurse
Oh
and why?
boy, my favorite. Goodness. I think because of how prestigious it is, Children's Hospital Philadelphia was my favorite. It was on my
Really?
bucket list. So here's another story. The CHOP was on my bucket list of places to work because it's CHOP, because it's an
What is
amazing
it?
pediatric
Chop? What's
hospital.
that?
CHOP.
Uh
Yep,
huh.
Children's Hospital of Philadelphia.
Okay.
It is between that and I think I can't remember the other hospital. Those are the two best pediatric centers in America to go to if
Wow.
your child is sick. And so
Oh
I wanted to
my
work
gosh.
there so bad. So
Yes.
of course I'm a new grad. I go to CHOP. I put in an application. They
It's
give me an
amazing.
interview, but I know nothing. Right? I'm fresh out of
Hmm.
nursing school. I know nothing. They said nope, we can't hire you. Go get some experience and come back. So I
Hmm.
went to Cooper. I got some experience. I did home. Um, Pediatric home care for a while, and I came
Okay.
back within 3 years and said, "Hey,
Mm.
I'm back."
So
They
to
looked at
the
my
people who's
resume,
trying to
they
get
looked at
into
how much
chop.
information I had, and they said, "Oh, I remember you. Okay,
Hmm.
yes, we're gonna hire you now."
Oh, awesome. Wow.
Yeah,
So where
I
exactly
love
did
that
you work?
hospital.
Like which floor did you work on at chop?
Uh huh.
What did you
I
do?
did oncology case management, so
Wow.
all the cancer kids.
Oh my God. I
Yeah.
couldn't imagine that, Jen.
Yeah. It was
Oh my
hard. It was
gosh.
hard. There are moments that it was very sad, but there are also moments where they get to ring the bell and they're cancer free. And then the information and the research that CHOP does and the
Hmm.
bone marrow transplants and all the new treatments that were
Hmm.
coming out were just
You get to
fascinating.
hear them
It
first.
was
Yeah.
hard,
Wow.
but there are some great moments where they got to ring that bell and we all would cheer that this
Mhm.
child is now cancer free.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay. So that's
that was a blessing.
that is a. I couldn't imagine. I couldn't imagine. You're at your
Yeah.
dream job doing amazing things, and so I could imagine how that could be hard. Because
Yeah.
that's the exact reason why I was like I could never work in peds. Because of death and sickness with children. It's just it hits
Yeah.
me
That's
different.
hard.
It
It
yeah
is.
yeah I couldn't imagine
Yeah.
that. But that takes a special person to be able to do that. And so the fact that you were able to and do it well speaks volume of who you are as a person. And
Oh yeah.
so
Thank you.
thank you for that. Um, tell me which place you like the least working as a nurse and why.
The nursing home.
The nursing
And
home?
then
Oh, I didn't
honestly,
like it either.
yeah, I liked it the least to the point where I don't even remember the name of the nursing home I worked for because I was there for only maybe like 4 or 5 months, and I'm like, this is not for me. I didn't feel like it was nursing. I felt like I was just kind of pushing medications. So I was like, this is not what I signed up for. I want to help
Right.
people, not just give them pills.
I'm glad you got to experience it to see that that wasn't what you wanted. It sounds like you moved around and found what you actually liked in nursing and was able to do that.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
let
And I
me
feel like
ask
you
you
have
this.
to.
You have to. I say it
Yeah.
all the time, and people are like, some people frown upon it. Is that like you have to move around until you find your place in nursing? It's not
Absolutely.
necessarily the hospital. It may not be the nursing home. It may not be home health or hospice, but you
Yeah.
find where you
Where
thrive
you
in nursing,
belong.
where you
Yeah.
feel that you are led to be. Like I feel like there is a place for everybody who is pulled into the field. There's a place for you,
Absolutely.
and it's so
Yeah.
diverse. Like there's so many different places that you can work as a nurse. I don't think that nurses should be leaving the field without
Without
moving
trying.
around. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and so
Yeah. I
that's my
agree.
thoughts on it.
Yeah.
But okay, so let me ask you this. someone who is interested in coming into the nursing field, maybe they felt like they've been pulled into it from a young age like you were, but they
Hmm.
have a disability, maybe that be blindness, deaf, whatever the case may be. What would you say to that person wanting to become a nurse and hearing the same things you were, is that maybe this
Yeah.
isn't the field for you and all of the things? What would you say to that person?
Right. There's always a way to do it. Right. You're gonna hear no with your disability, with your handicap, whatever it is, you're gonna hear a lot of no's. But there's always a way to get around it, to accommodate, to make adaptations. And I feel like a lot of people who have disabilities or handicaps, we have a lot of grit and a lot of determination, and we thrive on the word no. And so I feel like if you have a handicap, if you have a disability, something holding you back, you are
Mhm.
that much stronger to accomplish that goal because
Mhm.
of that handicap, because you know how to
Yes.
push forward. You know that you have bad days and good days more than the next person who has no handicap. And so you
Right.
know how to push, you know how to be determined, you know how to strive for what you want. So if you want to go into nursing, you do have some type of physical disability, you know that there are adaptations out there. You just got to find those resources, ask
Mhm.
around, find somebody who's going to give you a yes and go for it.
Yes. Oh,
Yeah.
that answer, because that is me. I am the find
Yeah.
somebody who's gonna tell me yes person.
Find somebody.
Do
Exactly.
not take no as an option. Keep going and strive for the yes person. I love that. I love that.
Exactly.
Okay, so
Yeah.
tell us, because you're so amazing. Like, you are a
Thank
nurse,
you.
you are a mother, you are a wife,
Yes.
business, right? I think you're a business
Yeah,
owner
business
too,
owner. Uh-huh.
and you are an investor in real estate,
Yes.
and you're a
Yes. So I
realtor.
have
You're a realtor.
yep,
Uh,
yep. So
you
I'm a
have to
realtor, so
tell.
I can buy and sell property. Right now, I own 4 properties. In my span, I've owned about 8. So I bought some, flipped
Wow.
some, sell some of
Yeah.
them I kept. So right now, I own 4 properties. So outside of once I finished with nursing and started, found my love for nursing, I found my love for real estate, and I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. I love the design of houses and giving somebody
Yeah.
their keys so they can go into their brand new house. Like that, I found a love
Mm.
for that.
They gotta feel
And then
amazing.
also, yeah, with my vision, I knew that at some point I was going to go blind, and that at some point nursing was not going to work. Right? There are adaptations, there's resources, but if you are
Mhm.
completely blind, there are your nursing abilities are limited. You can still do
Mhm.
it, but you can't
It's
do
limited.
bedside, you can't do nursing home, you can't do peds. Your window becomes a little smaller. So I knew
Right.
at some point my window was going to be a little smaller, and then nursing may not be the long-term plan for me. So I
Mhm.
wanted to buy these investment properties so that somebody else can pay rent. That rent could supply
Mhm.
my household and make sure that I'm okay, so that when I do go blind, like now, I won't be having to sell my house and live in a shack somewhere.
Right.
And so I went into real estate because I loved it, and also because it was a security, so that when this time comes, I can still be okay. I don't have to work full time and stress myself out because I have these rental properties that are making money for themselves.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. So let me ask you this, because all of us nurse babes are trying to get like you, okay? Like, I literally tell everybody about you, and they're like, "We need to talk."
Yes.
Like, I'm trying to get into this as well. And so, what would be your advice to those who are working as a nurse and looking to get into real estate investment properties?
Yeah, stack up your money.
Stack
Stack
it
up
up.
your money. You
Okay.
make quite a bit of money within the nursing field, so you are in one of
Yes.
the higher paying jobs. If
Hmm.
you can live at home, if you can live in an apartment, live in a duplex where you pay, well, your tenant, I guess, will pay their rent, and that covers the mortgage of the house. However you do it, stack your money so that you can
Okay.
start to buy more properties. And then once you buy that property, fix it up, whether you want to flip it or rent it, however, and then in a
Hmm.
couple months you can stack up some more and buy your next property. But
Okay.
if you want to get started, stack up your money, right? And then the other thing I tell people, whether it's real estate or any other type of business owner, you need a mentor. You need somebody who's been there,
Mm.
done that, so
This
you
is
can
the
avoid
second
those
interview.
big, yeah,
Yes, this is like the
those
very
big
first interview
pitfalls.
I said. She said that too. Is that the most instrumental thing in growing in the nursing field is a nurse mentor, and so you're saying the
Yes,
same thing. That
definitely. Yep, you
mentorship is
need a
very
mentor.
important.
Yeah.
Wow. And
Yep.
so
So
are
my mentor,
Mhm.
was my mortgage broker, Brad. Sorry, Brad Zerby. He was absolutely amazing. I called him all hours of the day and night, asked him all random questions when I first started, and he told me kind of what to do, what to look out for, how to do it. So of course, make sure your credit
Wow.
is up there. Make sure
Okay.
you stack your money.
Mhm.
And get a mentor. Get somebody who's been there, done that, and knows how the field works.
Wow. Okay, so mentor meaning like someone who is a realtor or not necessarily? Someone who have
Not
just
necessarily.
okay.
Yeah, someone who's either a realtor, so they know the side of real estate, so they know, hey, right now is a really good time to buy some property because the
Mhm.
market is really good. Or yeah, right now not so much. Just hold off a little while until maybe like after the elections. And so a
Mm.
realtor or
Okay.
a mortgage broker is another person who can
Mhm.
be a really good mentor and tell you the
Okay.
same thing, saying, hey, interest rates right now are through the roof. Hold on to your money. When interest rates drop back down, we'll talk. Um,
Okay.
or somebody who's already an investor and has bought whatever number of properties out there, been
Mhm.
there, done that, they can also tell you the same thing. It's a good time versus a not good time. Or you have a property, it's like, hey, this property is actually not making you money. You need to go sell it. So
Mm.
either an
Okay.
investor that's already been there,
Mhm.
your mortgage broker, or a realtor. One of those three would be the best mentor to get in this field.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
And what is so you're doing so much. Like you're an investor, you're a business owner, your mother, you
Yeah.
are a wife, and you still work, right, as a case manager.
Yep.
And
Still
so
working.
your plate is full. I just named five things. I'm sure there's
Yeah.
more.
And they're all like 24/7 jobs. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, so where is your balance? Where is your what is the word I'm looking for?
My happy
Your
place.
your happy place, your time for yourself. Like how do you
Yeah.
balance everything? And what would you tell nurses that are trying to find that balance of everything?
Yeah. You have to create that balance, right? No one's gonna give it to you. It's not gonna drop from the sky. You have to create those boundaries and that
Yes.
balance. So I
Okay.
work per diem. So I tell my job what I can do and what I cannot do. And I'm not gonna overwork myself because I have kids and all these other things.
That's
My
right.
tenants know, don't text me. You can text me after a certain hour, that's fine if it's an emergency. But
Hmm.
I'm not gonna respond until an appropriate hour. So they know, don't text me on Sunday at 2 o'clock in the morning unless it's an emergency, because I'm not going to respond.
Right.
But you gotta set those boundaries, even with your kids. Like there's a certain time you go to bed so that so your mom can turn off and you can go
Right.
sit down and watch some mindless TV or whatnot. But there's one thing that I built in all of my primary home, not my rentals, is a fire pit. For whatever reason, fire pits and fire just makes me calm down. So when the
Yes.
kids are at the bed, the kids are in bed, the kitchen is clean, whatever else, I'll go outside, I'll put the wood in my fire pit and I'll just sit out there. It's peaceful, it's quiet, it's outdoors,
Mhm.
it's fresh air. And I will sit
Yes.
there until the wood burns out, which could be an
Oh,
hour or 2 hours. And that is just my time.
and it's
So yeah, you
beautiful.
got to
I
find your
love it out
time.
there too. Like I'll
Yeah,
be over
it's
there
so
soon to sit
peaceful.
with
I
you.
love it. Yes, come on over anytime you want.
I love it. I love it that you and that's I think what is like in place to for you to be able to do all these things is that you have boundaries, you have
Yeah.
everything in place, you're good at time management, all of the
Yeah.
things that is what is helping you. So that is amazing. And so I'm proud of you. I'm proud of
Thank
you.
you.
I know I say it all
Thank
the
you.
time, but I'm truly proud of you. You're so inspirational. I'm trying to be like you, girl. I want to get some investment properties. But so this is one question I want to ask you as well. Because
Yes.
you did mention that a mentor is a really important piece to be able
Yes.
to invest in real estate investment, and you sound like the perfect one. So, have you ever
Ah!
considered becoming a nurse, well, a mentor? Oh, it would be awesome if you would be a mentor for nurses looking to do investment because you can understand both worlds. So, have you ever
Yeah.
considered that? I think that would be a really good move for
I
you.
I don't think I've considered it, but I am totally open to share my story and
Oh,
tell people how I
nice.
got here, and then and help them as well. Because during my pathway, I think being a blind nurse, gave me a lot of that grit and determination that you need for
Yeah.
just life in general.
Mhm.
Um, so I am totally okay with telling people. Then going through real estate and doing all these investments have really taught me a lot about your credit health and how to make
Mm.
sure you boost your credit and how to boost your credit and how to use credit cards
Yes.
appropriately. So I
Okay.
am totally okay with helping the next person and being open and being a mentor to whoever. That's perfectly
Please
fine with
do.
me.
Please. I
Yeah.
think that that would be. amazing. I know that you've gave me a lot of good tips and things for growing in that area, but I think that there's so many others who would love to learn from you, who would love to
Absolutely.
be where you are and do what you do. I know you said to set aside money, just maybe creating something of what that looks like, that amount, how to get the credit score up, because that's a really good piece as well.
Yes.
Um, how to find the properties and all of those things. I think that that's something you should really, really consider. That would be really good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely. That's a good idea. That's a really good
So,
idea.
so we're gonna have to talk and maybe get something together for that. I think that would be great for you. But
Let's do it.
thank you so much for allowing me to pick your brain and ask you a couple of questions about your journey.
Yeah. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate the time.
I really appreciate you making time. I know you're busy, so
No
I'm at
worries.
your mercy. Look, thank you so much. Is there anything else you would like to share to the nurses? Whether it be people wanting to start school, start out as a nurse who's thinking about becoming one, people who may have a disability, or people who are in the field and just are tired of nursing. I want you to kind of cover a message for all of
Yeah.
these nurses in this space.
My main thing is don't give up, right? Don't stop. I feel like when you are like a train, right, or was it Newton's law? If you are in motion, if you are going forward, don't stop. Just keep going
Let's
forward.
move.
Keep pushing, and you're gonna get to that end destination. But you gotta push forward. You gotta go uphill. Sometimes it's gonna be rocky, but it's gonna be that much better when you get to that destination. And if you are already in nursing, kudos to you. Good job. But if
Yeah.
you feel like, listen, I've reached the end of my nursing career, I want to find something different, that is totally okay. Many nurses are like, okay, I've done this, I've helped
Mhm.
hundreds of people, I want to do something else. And you are totally within your right to do that. Find something
Yes.
else, do it. But again, don't give up, don't slow down, keep pushing forward. Of course, make time for yourself. But if you
Yes.
have a goal, so I always tell people, if you have a goal, you have to three things. You have to have a goal, you have to have a plan of how you're going to get that goal, and you have to have a
Mhm.
time frame of when you're going to get there. Those
Mm.
three elements, you will be successful. Just have a
Yes.
goal, have a plan of a
A written
realistic
goal.
plan of how you're going to
Yes.
get there, and have a
Mm-hmm.
time frame. So you don't just, oh, my goal's in 10 years. No, no, no. You make a 1 year goal and
Realistic.
get there. Make a
Yeah.
2 year goal, get there. Make
Mm-hmm.
those baby steps, and you will get to that 10-year goal. Do it. Just push forward.
Mm-hmm. I love that. I love it. I love it. I love it. Yes.
Yes.
That is motivation for everybody who is
Absolutely.
coming on to nursing. So thank you so much again. I love
Yes.
you. Thank you for sharing
I
your
love you. Thank
story.
you for having me.